Hello everyone, welcome to the daily current affair analysis brought to you by Shankar Academy, 19th September 2025. Before getting into the discussion, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't, please do subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates from the Academy. So starting with the topics for the discussion, the first topic is H3N2 because we know that this year due to the extended monsoon, there's an increase in cases of H3N2, especially in the national capital. And the next article is regarding the National Mission for Sustainable Steel. Now the government is working on this mission to decarbonize the Indian steel industry. And the next article is regarding the Cheetah because we know that the 2025 marks the third year of the Project Cheetah, and as a part of it, the authorities have relocated a female cheetah from the Kuno National Park in the state of Madhya Pradesh to Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary in the state of Madhya Pradesh. And the next article is regarding the World Patient Safety Day. So we know that every year the September 17 is observed as World Patient Safety Day, and in this topic we will be discussing what are the challenges to the patient safety and what are the certain initiatives taken in the global level and also in India for better patient safety. And finally, we will be discussing some of the important prelims related topics under Prelims Focus. If all set, let's begin the discussion with the first topic. As H3N2 flu cases spiral, which vaccine should you take? Why your geographical location matters? The article is taken from Indian Express. So we know that the infection, especially the flu, is very common in India in the post-monsoon time. But this year, if you are experiencing any symptoms like tightness in your chest, breathing problem, severe fatigue or vomiting, then please don't hesitate to talk with your doctor because this could be H3N2 flu. And H3N2 is it's a type of influenza A virus that causes seasonal flu. And this year, the national capital Delhi is recording a surge of the H3N2 cases. So in this background, let us discuss more about this article. So starting with the virus, that is H3N2, it's a hybrid virus. That means it's a hybrid of H2N2 virus and also avian influenza A virus. And simply we can see that it is a type of influenza A virus that causes seasonal flu. And it mutates very fast. And that is why the fight against the H3N2 is very challenging. And you can see that if the infection left unaddressed, then that can lead to damage to the pulmonary system and that will lead to prolonged illness in the people. And coming to the symptoms, so what are the symptoms associated with the H3N2? So it is since it is a flu, the symptoms are also similar to the flu. That includes fatigue, vomiting, headache and all. But at the same time, in the case of the H3N2, the self-medication will not work effectively. For example, in the case of common flu, you can take paracetamol or Dollar 360. Within 1 or 2 days, you will be okay. But in the case of H3N2, it is not like that. And this will lead to a lot of complications such as pneumonia, acute respiratory distress syndrome. So due to this acute respiratory distress syndrome, the fluid will build up in the air sac and that is a life-threatening condition. And the next is sepsis. Sepsis, it is also a life-threatening condition where the immune system in our body excessively responds to the infection. So due to this excessive response, it will eventually attack our own tissue and organ, and this will lead to organ failure and other complications, and it is life-threatening. And the next is encephalitis, that is brain inflammation. And the next is heart muscle inflammation, and because of this, the people may experience, inflammation around their chest and tightness around their chest. And coming to the transmission, how this H3N2 transmits. First is airborne transmission. So when an infected person speaks or coughs near an uninfected person, then in that way the infection can spread. And the next is surface contact. So if a person touches the contaminated space or a surface and later he touches his eyes, nose or ear, then that way also the spread is possible. And the next is close contact. So when the uninfected and infected family members are sharing a close space, then in that case also the spread of the infection is possible. And the next is vaccination. So like I mentioned, the virus mutates rapidly, and therefore the vaccination is very important to reduce the severity and the other complications associated with the H3N2. So we can see that in the case of the H3N2, the vaccination, like I mentioned, because of the rapid mutation, the vaccination is really a challenging task. And you can see that is why we have to update the vaccine every year to reduce the hospitalization and other complications associated with the illness. And the most recommended vaccine is the tetravalent vaccine, which is effective against H1N1, H3N2 and also 2 influenza B strains. And coming to the timing, so to deal with the H3N2, we have a time for vaccination. Why? Because here comes the importance of geography. So we know that since it is a flu, it has a cycle. So it develops during the time of winter, during the time of coldness. And in the northern hemisphere, the winter starts in the month of October and ends in the month of March. So therefore, to deal with the upcoming winter, the perfect time for the vaccination is February in the case of northern hemisphere. And coming to the case of the southern hemisphere, the flu cases will be reporting in the time of monsoon and post monsoon time. And this year also, the extended monsoon is one of the major reasons behind the persisting cases of H3N2 in the national capital. Therefore, in the case of southern hemisphere, the perfect time for vaccination is April. And in the case of India, we comes under the southern hemisphere flu cycle. Therefore, we have to strengthen the vaccination during the time of April. And who are the people who should avoid the vaccination? Who are the people who should take precaution before the vaccination? The people with egg allergies, because we are using the fertilized chicken egg for the manufacturing of vaccine against the flu. Therefore, the people with the egg allergy should avoid, or they should take the egg-free vaccines to deal with the infection, or they should take the vaccine under strict hospital supervision. And the efficacy of the vaccine. So, like I mentioned, the virus is mutating very rapidly, and that is why we have to update the vaccine every year. But still, we have to take the vaccine. There is no other option, because it is very important to reduce the severity of the illness and other complications associated with the H3N2. And you can see that even in the healthy adult also, the vaccination efficacy is just 40 to 60%. But it is very important to reduce the transmission speed, to enhance the recovery, and also to reduce other complications associated with the infection. So in this topic, we discussed what is H3N2 and what are the complications associated with this, and also about the vaccination. So based on this, try to answer this prelims practice question. The question is, with reference to influenza vaccination in India, consider the following statements. The tetravalent influenza vaccine protects against H1N1, H3N2 and 2 strains of influenza B. Statement 2. India's flu season aligns more closely with the northern hemisphere flu cycle. Hence, WHO's northern hemisphere vaccine recommendation applies. Statement 3. Annual flu vaccine may not prevent infection completely, but can reduce hospitalization and severe complications. Which of the above statements is or are correct? So we are asking for the correct statement. So from the 3 statements, we can say that the statement 2 is incorrect, because the India's flu season is not aligning with the northern hemisphere. It is aligning with the southern hemisphere. And you can see that in the case of India, the infections are mostly recorded in the time of monsoon and post monsoon time, and that is why in the case of India, the best time for the vaccination is April. So India is not aligning with the northern hemisphere, it is aligning with the southern hemisphere. So if we can eliminate the option that is statement 2, then we can come to the answer, that is option B, 1 and 3 only. Let's check. Yes. So with this, we will move to the next article. Government plans 5,000 crore scheme to promote decarbonization in steel industry. The article is taken from The Hindu. So we know that the steel industry, one of the core industries in an economy, which is very important for the growth, but at the same time, the environment cost is also very high. So considering the environment cost, the government is currently working on a scheme worth of 5,000 crore, which is aiming to reduce the carbon emission in the steel industry. So in this background, let us discuss more about this article. So starting with the scheme. So the scheme is called the National Mission for Sustainable Steel. The proposal is currently under the consideration, and under the scheme, the incentives will be provided to the steel producers based on their success in the emission reduction. For example, last year, the total emission of an industry was 2 ton of carbon, and this year they adopted some green technologies and methods. They reduced the emission to 1 ton of carbon. So based on the reduction of emission, they will be receiving the incentives from the government, and the scheme is open to both the primary and the secondary producers, but the majority of the fund will be allocated for the secondary steel producers. So what is the difference between the primary and the secondary producers? The primary steel producers will be working from the raw material itself, but in the case of the secondary steel producers, they will purchase the steel and they will rework on it. For example, they will remelt it, they will remove the impurities, and they will sell the steel for various purposes. So that is the difference between the primary and the secondary steel producers, and the majority of the fund from the National Mission for the Sustainable Steel will be going to the secondary steel producers so they can adopt better green technologies and methods. And coming to the significance and objective. So what is the significance of the scheme? So we can see that this steel is an industry that belongs to hard to abate sector. So what is the feature of hard to abate sector? So these are the sector industries which are very important for the economic development and growth, but at the same time, they also contributes to high emission. So in the case of the Indian steel industry contributes about 12% of India's greenhouse gas emissions. So we know that the greenhouse gas is a major reason behind the global warming. And recently, that is on September 10, there was a study published in the Nature journal, which established a link between the carbon emission and the heat wave. For example, that is nearly 4 lakh plus people across the world are losing their life because of the heat wave. So this emission is also contributing to extreme weather events like heat waves and other issues. So therefore, it is a high time to take measures to ensure the climate justice. And the next is the emission intensity of India. So if you take the global average, it is 1.9 tons of carbon dioxide per ton of crude steel. But in the case of India, we are emitting nearly 2.55 tons of carbon per ton of crude steel. So therefore, it is showing the importance of or the need for adoption of better green technologies and methods. And what is the objective? So the objective is achieving a carbon neutral economy, reducing the global warming. So we can see that India is a signatory to the Paris Agreement of 2015, which is aiming to reduce the global warming, right? And therefore, this the reduction of carbon emission in the steel industry is an important step towards it. And we also planning to achieve a carbon neutral economy by 2070, that is net zero 2070. So therefore, the decarbonizing the steel industry is very important. So in this topic, we discussed the National Mission for Sustainable Steel and its basic features and its significance and objectives. So based on this, try to answer this prelims practice question. The question is, with reference to proposed National Mission for Sustainable Steel, consider the following statements. Statement 1, the mission aims to promote the adoption of green technologies in steel production to reduce carbon emissions. Statement 2, the scheme proposes 5,000 crore funding with a major share earmarked for primary steel producers. Statement 3, incentives under the scheme will be linked to reduction of carbon emission compared to the previous year's level. Which of the above statements is or are correct? So from the 3 statements, we can easily eliminate the statement 2, that is it is not focusing on the primary steel producers, it is focusing on the secondary steel producers. So therefore, the statement 2 is incorrect. And if you take the case of the statement 1, it is correct, because the mission is aiming to promote the clean technologies in the steel production to achieve the carbon reduction. So therefore, the statement 1 is correct. And coming to the statement 3, incentives under the scheme will be linked to the reduction of carbon emission compared to the previous year's level. Yes, if the last year, if the company emitted 2 ton of carbon, and this year they emitted 1 ton. So based on the reduction, they will be receiving the incentives. So therefore, the statement 1 and statement 3 are correct. So here the correct answer is option C, 1 and 3 only. Let's check. Yes. So with this, we will move to the next article. As Project Cheetah turns 3, female cheetah relocated from Kuno to Gandhisagar. The article is taken from The Hindu. So we know that the year 2025 marks the 3rd anniversary of the Project Cheetah, which was launched in 2022. And you can see that now the authorities have relocated a female cheetah from the Kuno National Park to Gandhisagar National Park in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So in this background, let us discuss more about this article. So first we'll start with the basics about the cheetahs. Cheetah, the scientific name is Echinonyx jupetus. It is the world's fastest land animal. And in the case of India, the last cheetah was found in 1952. And after that, we declared that the species is extinct. And historically, the cheetahs are found in open forest, grassland, like savanna biome. And the next is the conservation status of the cheetah. So global status in the IUCN Red List, it is considered as vulnerable. But if you take the regional subspecies, for example, in the case of Asiatic cheetah, it is categorized as critically endangered in the IUCN Red List. And this Asiatic cheetah is found only in the Iran presently. And the next is the African cheetah, which is found in the Eastern and the Southern African region. And it is classified as vulnerable in the IUCN Red List. And this African cheetah is a source population for India's cheetah reintroduction project. And the next is CITES. So in CITES, the cheetahs are conserved under the Appendix 1, so which strictly bans the international trade of the species except for non-commercial purpose. That means for research or for better conservation, we can transport the species, but it is not allowed for the commercial purpose. And the next is the Convention on Migratory Species. So in the Convention on Migratory Species, the cheetahs are listed in Appendix 1, which shows that the species are facing high risk of endangering. And the next is the Project Cheetah. So the Project Cheetah was launched in 2022. The objective is reintroduction of the cheetah for better restoration of ecological balance. So through that, we are restoring the ecological balance, because cheetah is one of the top predators in the grassland and the savanna ecosystem, and enhances biodiversity conservation and ecosystem services, and through that we can promote ecotourism, and it will create a livelihood for various communities living in that region. And the next is it will also strengthen India's image as a global leader in wildlife conservation. And the next is implementation agency. So what are the agencies involved in the Project Cheetah? The first is the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the next is the National Tiger Conservation Authority, and the next is the Wildlife Institute of India. And the source country. So we can see that in 2022 we brought nearly 8 cheetahs from the Namibia, and after that in early 2023 we brought more cheetahs from South Africa, and we released them to Kuno National Park in the Madhya Pradesh. Why? Because the ecosystem in the Kuno National Park is similar to savanna and the grassland. And the next is the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. So it is located in the state of Madhya Pradesh. The river Chambal is flowing through this national park only. And the next is the ecosystem is a tropical dry deciduous forest. So coming to the prelims practice question. So this is a previous year question taken from UPSC 2024. The question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1, lions do not have a particular breeding season. Statement 2, unlike most other big cats, cheetahs do not roar. And statement 3, unlike male lions, the male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Option A, 1 and 2 only, option C, 2 and 3 only, option B, 2 and 3 only, and option C, 1 and 3 only, and option D, 1, 2 and 3. So here we can see that the statement 3 is incorrect. The male leopards will proclaim their territory, and the lions do not have a particular breeding season. So therefore the statement 1 is correct. And unlike most other big cats, the cheetahs do not roar because they are silent predators. So therefore the statement 2 is also correct. So here the correct answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. So with this we will move to the next article. Making healthcare safe for every Indian. The article is taken from The Hindu. So we know that sometimes if you open the news channel, we will be hearing certain unfortunate news like doctor performed surgery in the wrong eye, or sometimes we will be hearing news like surgical scissor was removed from a person's stomach after 3 months of surgery, or sometimes news is related to wrong medication. So we have to understand that providing quality healthcare service is very important, but at the same time ensuring the safety of the patient is also very important. And to raise awareness about the patient safety, we observe the World Patient Safety Day on September 17 every year. So in this background, let us discuss more about this article. So starting with the World Patient Safety Day, it is observed on 17 September every year, and if you take the background, it was established by the WHO, that is World Health Organization, in 2019 following the 72nd World Health Assembly Resolution on Global Action on Patient Safety. And the purpose of the World Patient Safety Day is raising global awareness about the patient safety and also ensuring the solidarity and the cooperation between government, healthcare workers, patients and communities for better safety. And the next is theme. So this year the theme is safe care for every newborn and every child. So why this patient safety is important? Because if you take the estimate of the World Health Organization, every year nearly 134 million adverse events are reported in the hospitals, especially from the hospitals of low and middle income countries. And you can see that 2.6 million people are losing their life because of the patient harm. So the patient harm is a major concern, and it is a major cause of death and disability across the world. And you can see that according to the estimation of the WHO, 1 in 10 patients are harmed while receiving hospital care. And what are the challenges to the patient safety? First is a shift in the nature of the disease burden. So before that, we used to focus on seasonal outbreak of infections and all, but now the shift has occurred. That is the shift from communicable disease to non-communicable disease. The non-communicable disease is a major concern for the public health these days, and also the climate change. So if you take the case of the non-communicable disease, the complexity of the non-communicable disease is very high. For example, if you take a person with a diabetes, he will be facing a lot of problems. He will be facing skin issues, he will be facing immunity problems. At the same time, he is also vulnerable to a lot of infections. And at the same time, if you take a person with a hypertension, he is highly vulnerable to cardiovascular problem and pulmonary problem and also neurological problem. So therefore, the complexity of this non-communicable disease is very high. And also for the non-communicable disease, the treatment will go for a very long time. So the long time treatment also increases the possibility of high mistakes. So here the shift of the disease nature is also an emerging challenge in the patient safety. And the next is type of harm. So for example, mistakes happening during the time of surgery, or mistakes happening during the time of blood transmission. So this can lead to spread of infections and all. And the next is systematic problems within the health sector. For example, lack of trained professional, overtime, at the same time lack of infrastructure. So this can also pose concerns to the patient safety. So what are the initiatives taken across the world and also in India to ensure better safety for the patients? The first is the World Health Organization Global Patient Safety Action Plan 2021-30. So this is a framework to achieve zero avoidable harm by 2030. And the next is the Patient Advisory Council. So in various countries, the healthcare institutions have adopted the advisory councils to provide an opportunity or a platform for the patients to raise their concern and voice. So this will ensure better communication and trust between the healthcare providers and the patients. And the next is the National Patient Safety Implementation Framework 2018-25. So this is adopted by India to ensure better patient safety and also on-time reporting of adverse events in the hospitals and also for the better infection control. And the next is the National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers, so shortly known as NABH. So from this board, the officials will visit the hospital and they will check the quality of the infrastructure and also the quality of the healthcare providers. And the next is a pharmacovigilance program of India. So this is focusing on the quality of the drug. So they will study the drug reaction to ensure better safety for the patients. And coming to the mains practice question. So in this topic, we discussed the importance of patient awareness, patient safety day, and also why it is significant, and also what are the challenges faced in achieving the patient safety. And we also discussed the certain initiatives adopted in the global level and also in India for better patient safety. So based on this, we have a mains practice question. The question is, despite multiple initiatives, patient safety remains a weak link in India's healthcare system. Discuss the major challenges to ensuring patient safety in India and evaluate initiatives taken by government and civil society to address them. Suggest measures to build a culture of safe care. So it's a 15 marks question and you have to write around 250 words. So in the first part, you have to address what are the challenges in ensuring better safety for the patients. And the second part, we have to address what are the initiatives taken by the civil society and government to address the problem. And finally, we have to suggest certain measures to ensure better safety for the patients. So based on the discussion, try to answer the question and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. Now it's time to move to the prelims focus. So coming to the prelims focus, the first topic is Busan International Film Festival 2025. So whenever we hear about the Busan, the first thing that comes to our mind will be the famous South Korean movie, that is Train to Busan. But the Busan, it's a major city in South Korea and it is also famous for the Busan International Film Festival. And this year the film festival started on September 17 and it will be going up to 26th September. And it is one of the Asia's most prestigious film festivals, recognized by the Federation of International Association for Film Producers with International Film Festival of India and Cannes Film Festival. And what is the contribution of India in 2025 Busan International Film Festival? We are also planning to showcase our creativity, and this is the first time ever India is sending a ministerial delegation to the Busan International Film Festival, and through this we are planning to enhance our cultural diplomacy with the various countries, and we are also planning to develop our creative economy. So recently we are hearing about the orange sector and all, right? So orange sector means the industries which are using creativity. For example, the content creation industry is the best example of this. So through this, through participating in the Busan International Film Festival, we are planning to strengthen our cultural diplomacy with various countries, and also we are planning to strengthen our creative economy or the orange sector. And the next is the right to mental health. So recently in a case, that is Sukhdev Saha versus the state of Andhra Pradesh. In this case, the Supreme Court gave a judgment that mental health is an integral part of the right to life under the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So hereafter, no state or any state institutions or any person cannot do any action that affects your mental health. If they do so, then it is literally a violation of fundamental rights. And the next is the 31st World Ozone Day. So it was the 31st World Ozone Day was observed on 16th September 2025, and to commemorate the contribution of Montreal Protocol and Vienna Convention. And this is organized by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And this year the theme for the World Ozone Day is from science to global action. So we know that the ozone depletion is one of the major climate crises that we are facing these days, and therefore it is a barrier in ensuring the climate justice also. So through this World Ozone Day, we are raising awareness about the crucial role of the ozone layer in safeguarding the life on Earth and also in ensuring the climate justice for everyone. So coming to the next topic, it is AI-led GDP growth. So recently the Niti Aayog released a report talking about the importance of integration of AI in different industries to enhance the efficiency and to achieve the growth. And according to the report, this AI-led efficiencies are key to achieve the 8% annual GDP growth. So why we are stressing on this 8%? Because we know that according to the estimation of the Economic Survey of 2025, a constant GDP growth of 8% is important to achieve the Viksit Bharat 2047. So that is why we are stressing on this 8%. And if you take certain industries like pharmaceutical, manufacturing, automobiles, and the fintech industries, we can see that the integration of AI will enhance the production, and at the same time it will also reduce the cost and the time. For example, if we can integrate the AI successfully in the pharmaceutical industries, then it will reduce the production cost of new molecules by 10 times, and it will also reduce the time by 50%. So this article is talking about, this report is talking about the importance of integration of AI in different industries for economic growth. And coming to the UPSC Prelims PYQ. So it's a PYQ taken from 2015. The question is, which one of the following is associated with the issue of control and phasing out of use of ozone depleting substance? Option A, Bretton Woods Conference. Option B, Montreal Protocol. Option C, Kyoto Protocol. And option D, Nagoya Protocol. So from those four options, we can easily eliminate the two, that is Bretton Woods Conference and the Nagoya Protocol. So the Nagoya Protocol is talking about the accessibility to the genetic resources. So therefore, we can easily eliminate this. And the Bretton Woods Conference is related to the establishment of the the IMF and the World Bank. Therefore, we can eliminate that also. So the next is the Montreal Protocol and the Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol is talking about the greenhouse gas emission. Therefore, we can eliminate that also. The Montreal Protocol is specifically talking about the control and phasing out of substance that are harmful for the ozone. Therefore, the correct answer is option B. So with this, we are coming to the conclusion for the prelims focus. With this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's current affair analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button, give your feedbacks as comments, and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates from the academy. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.